Welcome in to another episode of Hockey Royalty Live, the official podcast of hockeyroyalty.com. Tonight we are talking about your LA Kings, so get in the chat, like and subscribe. You know what to do because it's Husker Do 92. Let's go. Accidentally click the Christmas display. Nothing wrong with a little holiday cheer as we're going into this, boys. Husker Do 92. And if anybody doesn't know what Husker Do means, it's do you remember? Are we going to remember Brant Clark for his excellent play right now? Is he going to be thought of as the guy that's carrying this team? We're going to get into that later on the show. But right now, I want to get in with my boys. Russell, Joe, how are we doing? First, I want to start with Russell because I think Joe is going to finally talk about something happy. You know, I think he got a head coach for his football team.
Yeah, well, I'll start with me. I think the Dodgers just got another prized free agent, which shouldn't be that surprising at this point, watching this team of late. So, yeah, Kyle Tucker to the Dodgers. I'm happy. I feel like I should be more excited than I am, but at this point, it's like whoever the Dodgers want in free agency, they just get. So now I'm at the point where I kind of expect this to happen. So,
best closer, best outfielder, free agency,
Yeah, and fair. Jacob, with the comment, Jacob, your comment made us laugh before we hopped on here. He says the Dodgers have signed the top free agent for the third year in a row, and the Kings have Cody CC. That's the A+ comment of the night so far.
We should give we give him a super chat, like a super comment. We should give some back there. That was good. I like that. That made us chuckle. Yeah, Brandon, Harbaugh, Giants. I'm really excited about that. There's hope for the New York Football Giants now with there's a sprinkle of talent. Some of the D looks okay. Jackson Dart looks fun. Scadaboo looks fun. Neighbors is a stud. Now they got a coach. There's maybe something cooking here, guys. They have a
lot of top defensive prospects. They've taken a top defensive end in a lot of these drafts. And to be honest with you, you look at this year, there was only one repeat division winner this year in the NFL, which was the Eagles. And there was 4 teams who went from worst to first in their division this year. And it happens every year. It's happened every year but one since, I think, 1994, if I remember the stat. So your Giants could be that team. Worst to first in the NFC East. They make a good draft pick. They sign some free agents because of the name called Harbaugh. That team could be looking pretty good there, Joe Paterino.
For the last year, they started to become they're actually kind of fun to watch now. And then just when Dart came in, Neighbors gets hurt and Scadaboo gets hurt, all the injuries piled up. So I was like, wow, this sucks. But it sucks. But we saw some hope. We saw glimmers of hope. We saw sprinkles of hope. You know, it's not LA Kings. We're right there, but there's progress here. I feel for the Giants. So it's exciting. You know, I finally have a Giant season that I can actually look forward to because I haven't had that in freaking years. So that'll be fun.
Is it like the LA Kings right before they signed Joel Edmondson? Is that how you feel?
You know what? Actually, yes, Brandon. That's right before that offseason. I think there was still hope. There was still hey, we're going in a direction here. We've made playoffs. We're putting something together. And then they kneecap themselves. So yeah. How about you, Brandon?
I'm doing good. Niners win a game that they shouldn't win. Christian McCaffrey keeps sacrificing his teammates for their souls so that way he can continue playing excellent football. So he claimed another injury-prone player. Not injury-prone player, but claimed another player due to injury with George Kittle. And then that whole thing, I don't want to get deep into it, but there's a guy that came out and said the electromagnetic waves around Levi Stadium is contributing to all these injuries, and they're the reason it's the most injured team in football, which is crazy. So lots of stuff to think about there, but I'm focused on the Seattle Sea Chickens, and one out of one, or 1 for 1, or 1 and 1 this year with them. I think we get We're not going to get Fred Warner back. He was practicing. I don't think he's going to play. I think one of our other linebackers, but to suit up 2 linebackers that were doing nothing a month ago and playing them in actual football and having our 4th wide receiver go for 100 yards and a touchdown, I just think it just shows why Kyle Shanahan should be coach of the year this year.
I like it.
We're going to get into a lot of stuff here, starting with your LA Kings. Played some good hockey, played some bad hockey. Another loser point. Are we? I didn't even look this up. Are we on the verge of setting a record for the most overtime lost points ever in a season?
Right. At this point,
I don't know what the record
if we are,
is.
we got to be close. I'll probably got to look it up. But what do you guys think of the play of the team this last couple games since we last talked? Has it changed your view on anything? Are we getting some players back? What's going on, guys?
It hasn't really changed my view. I mean, it's kind of just been the same old. I mean, I guess what's fun has been some of the new guys that have come in and stepped up, got some playing time from the injuries. I mean, it's hard to make excuses for the way they're playing right now, but there are some pretty big injuries that are happening right now. I mean, Andre Kopitar, Trevor Moore, Yoel Armia, Corey Perry's been in and out of the lineup the last few days dealing with his family situation. So I get it. Like you can make that excuse, but I mean, overall, they're still pretty much playing the same way. Brant Clark's doing his thing. Kevin Fiala, Alex Turcotte, and Andre Kuzmenko still kind of kept it going a little bit. They had another goal last night. But yeah, overall, it's just same Kings that we've seen all year. So it's terrible deployment from the coaching staff. Overtimes are abysmal. It's power plays up and down. Defense is just hard to watch. Like I can't I look at the schedule and I'm like thinking like, oh God, there's a Kings game tonight at this point every day. It's like I actually have to watch it. And like Joe, I remember your tweet like when I moved out here. Now that I'm not like in the games anymore, and it's like I laugh every time because like I can actually just turn off the game and just like stop watching because I got to the point last night where I'm thinking like, man, they're not going to score. Like I can see it, like the writing on the wall. Like the second period, I'm like, man, this team just can't score a goal. Sure enough, Kevin Fiala proved me wrong, so that was nice. And then of course it's Brant Clark that ties the game with the last second goal, only for us to have another awful overtime showing. What was it, like 30 seconds that the biggest Golden Knights scored? It's like, yeah, it's like at this point it's like expected. So yeah, I mean, nothing really has changed.
Yeah, and to that end, Russ, so last night I'm watching, and through 2 periods I'm like, we're approaching midnight here on the East Coast. What's the point? I'm gonna stay up. I'll wake up and see, did they win or lose in overtime? Right? Did they end up tying the game and they go to overtime or not? Like, this is a waste of, like, all these games are the same. You said it months ago. I feel like it's, there's the random game here or there where like the Winnipeg game where they got beat up. That's, obviously not the norm. But everything else is just, and it's not, the thing is like, you would think like, yeah, but isn't that fun? Like these 3-2, like, these overtime games, that's fun. It's not fun. It's the opposite of fun. There's nothing fun about watching the Kings play hockey on the whole. I will say though, Randon, like things to be excited about recently. I mean, Brant Clark goes without saying, but boy, oh boy, the Turcotte, Kuzmenko, Fiala line. I'm so excited for Turcotte, man. Like I'm just so happy to see him being healthy and playing at a high level right now. That line is comfortably the Kings' best line. Maybe on the season, right? Like as a full health or whatever, like that line's been great. They've played over 100 minutes together at this point. They got like a 68% expected goal share, so they're doing really, really well. It's great to see three brains, like 3 skilled guys that think offensively. It's great to see. And Taylor Ward, man, I freaking. Brandon, I know I say it every time we talk about this kid. When they signed him from college a few years back when we were doing the Making It Rain thing, loved watching this kid play. Like there's nothing about his tools that is going to stick out when you watch him play. Where he's not the quickest guy in the league. He's not that fast. There's not a whole lot there that like brings you out of your seat.
He's just a hockey player.
Oh my God, I can appreciate him so much. Yes, Brandon, like he is such a smart player. He has such a good brain, and he does have a really good release. We talked about that. He's got a sneaky release and a pretty good shot. So I'm excited to see him play well. I hope he sticks, even when guys come back. Like, this is a guy that I think should he's an NHL depth player. Now, when I say depth player, I mean like depth as in he's probably like a bottom 6 comfortably player, but like not a guy that can get lost if he's playing with a skill player on a second line. He can play a power play comfortably, right? He can for sure play on a PP. So I'm really excited about Taylor Ward. Not like that I think he's going to light it up or anything like that. Just I think he's playing well, and I hope he sticks. I like watching him play. I got all the time in the world for Ward. So some positives there, Randon, and recently, and we can dig into the games.
Yeah, you brought up 2 things that I think we should talk about. You brought up 2 things I think we should talk about. Let's talk about the line first off. I think the line is fantastic. And if they have been the sole reason this team has been, not the sole reason, I mean, other than Brant Clark, but offensively, as far as forward-wise, they've been the reason this team has been watchable at all. I think Kevin Fiala and Kuzmenko, I mean, to be honest with you, it never really hit my brain to put those 2 guys together, even though they think creatively they're both guys that put the puck in danger, but you see so much positive from their creativity that the positives outweigh the negatives. And then you have a guy that's just a dog in Turcotte going to the areas that need to get pucks and facilitating where he needs to go. I mean, this just line is working on every single level, Russ.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of when Turcotte played with Trevor Zegras and Artur Kaliev at the World Juniors. It was like 2 skilled guys that he played with, and he was just kind of doing all the hard work to let them have space to do what they do. And yeah, I agree with you, Randon. It's hard to really think about Kuzmenko and Fiala clicking a little bit. It's maybe just because we're so ingrained to this LA Kings style of hockey where we think like, oh, let's just put our best skilled players together and see what happens. And we have to spread them out around other lines. But sure enough, like the last few games when they've been on the ice, I think a lot of it has to do with their pairing with Brant Clark. Not to take away anything from what they're doing, but it seems like a lot of the time during the offensive zone, Brant Clark is right there with him. So, I mean, if you can get those 4 players on the ice and even whoever is on the other side, and Joel Edmondson, I guess, have been the case lately, they've been making a lot of scoring chances happen. So I like it. Hopefully that they stick together. I'm sure they will stick together once some of the players come back from injury. So maybe it's something you can build off of, and maybe you find another line that can catch some fire too somewhere else. But yeah, this has been like, it's hard to think of another line throughout the entire season that's been able to find this kind of offensive firepower on a consistent basis now.
Yeah, when the Kings traded for Kuzmenko last year, if you remember, like the Laferriere, Kopitar, Kempe line was going fine. I think Turcotte was spending some time up there too, and that was going fine. And I was like, just put like Kuzmenko. I wanted when I first drew lines up, I was like Kuzmenko, Byfield, Fiala. And the reaction that I got on Twitter was like, you can't play Fiala and Kuzmenko together. You can't have 2 guys that are terrible at defense. I'm like, who cares? Like, who cares? And so obviously they never even went there. That never happened. And then this year we were talking about, let's get Kempe with Byfield and Fiala, because for some reason they just refused to try Kuzmenko there. So whatever. I don't understand why. And in hindsight, looking back, like I can understand why there wasn't really a fit stylistically with Kempe and Fiala. To me, it makes a lot of sense with the way both of those guys play, like very east-west. Both those guys are very willing to hold the puck the extra second and to look to make a seam pass, look to make creative plays. Where Kempe, as great of a player as he is, he is a bit more of that north-south catch release type of player, score off the rush type of player. So, again, I can see why maybe the line didn't click as we would have liked to have hoped. But yeah, like this is great. And Turcotte, again, it's always been health with him. And now with his health, he's been able to establish kind of a baseline. And with that, he's been able to climb up the lineup just little by little, getting some more ice time. Then when guys get hurt, he's taking advantage. Guys get traded, taking advantage. He looked really good, if we remember, on that top line with Kopitar and Kempe on the wing. Creative player, good little playmaker, puck hound. So he does a lot of things well, really good hockey brain. So he's a really good fit there. So yeah, like this is great to see. I love to see that it fits, and I hope we can maybe see like it's okay to have two guys in Fiala and Kuzmenko that are not known for defense in the slightest play together. It's okay, folks. It is okay. We'll survive.
Russ, do you feel like, you have to know when he came here, he was like, yeah, he's a defensive forward, but he kind of really sparked the offense as the 2C of his first year here, being able to just get constant pressure up the ice. It was just keeping the puck out of your own zone, moving the puck that way, keep facilitating. And they eventually found players that kind of sunk with him. It was Moore and Arvidsson for a little bit and all that. Do you kind of feel like this line kind of has that same thing where their offensive prowess is just keep pushing the puck down the other end, that expected goal share is just so high because Turcotte is moving the puck in the other direction and facilitating that down that ice?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just you have two players in Fiala and Kuzmenko that are probably, I would say, maybe the two best players on the Kings who play with the puck in the offensive zone. I don't know if they're that great on the rush as compared to some other guys on the team, but once the puck's in the zone, it's hard for that to leave especially with the way that they've been clicking from their chemistry wise. So yeah, I totally agree. And I think a lot of it has to do with Turcotte now having maybe a little bit more confidence since the Deneau trade, knowing that like, okay, now I have a legitimate spot. I don't have to worry about maybe just trying to make the most of like 6 minutes a night or 6 minutes a game. I don't know what his ice time has been, but it certainly seems like it's been at least in the 12s maybe. So throughout since the trade has happened. So I mean that's kind of what I guess it's a blessing in disguise with the Deneau trade, that Turcotte's been able to get these minutes and now has made the most of it. So it's been a wild ride for Alex Turcotte. We've kind of just like Joe alluded to, it's been just health with him. So who knows? Maybe he's on this like Adrian Kempe type of linear development path where it's taken him a little while, that he's now finally found his footing, and maybe the Kings have a solid middle six centerman that they can kind of rely on in the future.
That would be huge, by the way. With all the problems they've got down the middle, obviously with Kopitar retiring, Byfield just kind of stalling here, to get a Turcotte to just be that middle six guy would be, oh man, that would be so big for them. Sorry, Randy.
What we used to always say on Making It Rain, progression is not always linear.
Correct. That is correct.
It's what we used to always say.
Yeah.
Bro, so since December 1st, Turcotte is 12th in total minutes. I don't know what that comes out to per game, but 244 minutes, he's 12th. And I mean, it's definitely crawling up there. It's better than 6 minutes a night. I think this kind of goes to say, and then I want to let's bring it around to your second point, Joe, and Taylor Ward. 11-7 is not working this year. You can't play Jacob Morvara 22 seconds, one shift. Like let's bring up some of these young. Let's bring up Martin Chromiak. Let's bring up Atu Jansen. Let's bring up some of these guys and get them some cups of coffee in the NHL and see what we got. Like, let's see if we can get a spark, because it's happened for other teams. Why can't it be us, Joe? Why can't it be us? Why can't we bring up these guys and give them some run and see if we can get some spark from our prospects?
I don't know. I mean, this is probably a little twofold. Like, I don't know that there's like, so they've got up obviously Taylor Ward. Like, I don't know that there's necessarily like a no-brainer. Like, you've got to bring insert name here up just for the sake of doing it. So I don't know. So I understand the point, but like, I don't think there's anybody that's like lighting the lamp enough to be like, holy cow, we've got to do something here. He looks way too good. Like, Kenny Connors is the name for me. I think this kid, anytime I've watched him play, I haven't watched much Ontario Reign this year, admittedly, but whenever I watched him in preseason, the little bit that I've seen of the Reign throughout the season, he just stands out to me as somebody that's an NHL player. Now, that said, if you're looking for somebody to come up and provide like an offensive spark, play him on the top line, I don't know if he's the guy, but you know, I really like what he's done in the AHL.
Sorry to cut you off. Guess who's leading the AHL in points right now?
I don't know.
LA Kings prospect Arthur Kaliev.
Is he really?
Is he really? What?
Yeah. He's got 42 points in 37 games for.
Wow, I mean, hey, good for him.
That is.
Wow.
He's got to pay off all those debts.
Yeah.
So going. I don't know, Randon, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know if there's like, it depends, I guess, what you're looking for. And obviously we all know the Kings aren't looking for skill, right? Like they're looking for guys to play roles when they call guys up. So that just is what it is.
So you have plenty of names here. You have Martin Chromiak if you're looking for a scoring spark. You have Andre Lee, who's been up before, had some success on the team.
Yeah, he's up now.
Good fourth liner. You have Kenny Connors, who's a bigger body who can play some fourth line minutes. You know who should Jared Wright, but you know who might be a guy that could has some offensive jam, but can play all kinds of positions. I think maybe like similar to Alex Turcotte, but not exactly him. But Francisco Pinelli, second round pick. You know, he's not doing horrible this year. I mean, you look at him right now; he has 11 and 30, but he's playing a lot of solid minutes with the team. You know, not necessarily lighting the lamp, but is it a player that's lighting the lamp going to get much opportunity on the Kings? He's probably going to get 6, 8, 10 minutes. Pinelli is a guy that you can trust in those minutes. But I just feel like this team needs to bring somebody up and stop playing 11-7. If you're not going to play Rivara, bring some people up and get some cup of coffee.
That's why I say if they're bringing up somebody that's not going to fill like a higher end role in the lineup, then Kenny Connors I think makes sense. Like if I haven't. Like I said, I don't know much about Nikita Alexandrov, but you got a guy that's a point a game since he's been with the Reign, 32 points in 36 games overall, leads the Reign in scoring. I don't know. I'd have to check in with our guy, Kyle Garcia, to see if that actually makes any sense. Because, like, you got right now first line Jeff Malott. So,
yeah,
like, that can't happen. Sorry. You know.
We're trying to retool there, Joe.
It's not. No, you're not being. I don't know. It's it is what it is. Like Jeff Malott is not a top 6 NHL player,
and they're hurt. Like
turn here, is that right?
Yeah, and I want to make sure. Like obviously, he's playing. They're not playing there with a full roster. They have a lot of injuries, so that's why he's there. But I think to Randon's question, right, it's like, well, maybe instead of Malott, maybe it's Chromiak or maybe it's Alexandrov, somebody that can maybe play that higher end role. You know,
or even Taylor Ward is already up.
Taylor Ward.
I mean, the thing that's so upsetting with that situation, not that he's getting that time, but I mean, you're playing him with Adrian Kempe. He's like your best winger. So, yeah, it's. I can't imagine like he's playing off those players.
I feel like Adrian Kempe is the new Dustin Brown. Like, can we find him another winger to play with? Like that. like it just feels like he's gonna have that kind of that feel to it. I looked it up. StatMuse says there's 4 teams tied with 18 overtime losses, and we have 11. But then I found another source that said the New Jersey Devils have 19 overtime losses. So I don't know which is true, but 18-19. By the end of the season, the Kings could win something.
They're going to break it.
Note by doing that. Jeff Malott's not a first-time line player, but Martin Chromiak has scored plenty of goals. Like he's second on the team in points. Let's bring him up 5 games. Like, what is it going to matter? Like, this team is.
Well, they might not score, Randon.
Then we haven't lost anything. Right?
Exactly. I just want to see Ward up there. I mean,
yeah, that's fair.
Like Al Smith said, 5 games, 2 points plus 3. Like he
but
looks
Ward,
like.
But Ward is not a first-line player long term. Chromiak could be. So let's get some.
He could be, but I mean, it's hard to say that with Ward too because we haven't seen him in that situation. Though,
but I guess so maybe I see where you're going, Randy. But I guess you also like this is short term, right? Because they got so many injuries that these guys are coming back.
Then let's get a guy that can put the puck in the net, and Chromiak is leading the Reign in goals.
I think Taylor Ward could do the same. Mm-hmm. Either one. How about that? Can we let's either
call
one.
Them both. Get them both out there.
Somebody other than Jeff Malott.
Yeah.
Is that not Jeff Malott?
Al Smith is saying that Malott is anchoring that line. He's the stalwart for that line there, Joe. Can't take him off of it.
I don't know if that's what he meant by anchor.
He's there holding it down.
He's holding it down the offensive zone is what he's saying.
Yeah.
Any sort of offensive game would be nice. I think you need sparks. Like, and sometimes these players get brought up and they just give you a spark and they're there, right? And they're there for the rest of the season. And like why not shake it up? Like, why is Jim Hiller so afraid to play anybody under the age of 23 years old? I mean, Taylor Ward's over 23, but still, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted Taylor Ward up earlier in the season because of that alone, because this team, it felt like it needed a spark, right? It's the entire season this team needed a spark, and you're just kind of rumbling along, getting all these loser points, losing games 2-1, 1-0, 3-2, whatever. And it's like, why don't you try something new? Why don't you bring up somebody who's going to add a spark to the lineup, like a Taylor Ward? Like, it just made no sense why this hasn't happened sooner, because we've seen what these players have done in the short time. It's not like they're lighting the world on fire, but they don't look out of place either. And it couldn't have been any worse than what the team was looking like earlier in the year. Like, Taylor Ward, I've always been I didn't really know much about him coming up. Like, he's always been kind of like in the mix of the names of the top prospects of the Kings. He was kind of just in the background a little bit, but then you watch him play a little bit and you're like, okay, he's kind of got that like Alex Laferriere kind of skill set where it's like Joe said, there's nothing flashy about him, but seems like for whatever reason he just can score. And
I was going to say Alex Alafalo. Like, I was going to go different.
Yeah, that's another one too. I mean, a guy who's just probably going to be smart, cerebral type player. He's only going to do this good things, but
he's just going to be smart. He's just going to do the right thing with the puck. No big deal.
Guys, not to like Mo Ferrari played 22 seconds last game. Did you see that?
Yeah, I brought that up.
It was in the third period too. It was in the third period. His first shift came in the third period of the game.
And I know Randy,
I was like, this is the time you put him out there?
Yeah, like what are we doing here?
Hey, Tuna.
And it's probably because Dumoulin has been playing so bad. They're like, well, let's get Moberara out there for his shift. Even though he's been sitting on the bench all game. It's so weird.
It's
Tuna, you getting leg cramps on the bench? You wanna shake it out for a bit?
Yeah, let's
22 seconds.
Let's put a cold defense.
I mean, how much? But the thing is, like, how much do we put that? And I'm not trying to sound like a Hiller apologist here, but like, I mean, JJ Smith is the guy who controls the defense. Like, this is the guy who's not getting enough criticism as he should, along with Jim Hiller. Like this, he's the one out there deploying the defense on 5-on-5.
So it's funny you say that, because I think sometimes, now I don't know if I wouldn't say Hiller's doing this like to take a shot, but he always will reference DJ Smith. DJ Smith runs the D. DJ Smith, he can put however he wants out there. He's got full control of the D. So like, I don't know if that's him saying, hey, don't blame me for the D. Fuck, DJ is running it. Or it's just like, this is how it is. Now, in DJ Smith's defense, doesn't have a lot to work with there, Russ. But you're right. They have mixed and matched, and really nothing works except for whoever's on the ice with Clark. Like, I know people think Joel Edmondson's good all of a sudden. He's not. It's whoever plays with Clark is good. So is going to have good results. Like, that's kind of where we're at right now. They have one higher caliber NHL defenseman in Brant Clark, and then a bunch of guys like Mikey Anderson. I don't know what's going on. He's not like, he had he shows some flashes here and there, but I don't know. Like, he is what he is. Like, he's just kind of he's a solid defensive defenseman, can chip in whatever. Like,
he's not an LD1. Like,
no, God. And I'm like, he's a back end LD2, I think. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's being too harsh, but like, I don't know. So
the way he's been playing, definitely.
You know what I mean? So like, so DJ Smith's point, like the DJ Smith point, you're probably right, but at the same time, it's like, he's trying to make chicken soup, Russ, and that's tough to do.
Chicken soup.
Now, can I say, while we're talking about the D quick, like, I'm not here for the Doughty hate, guys. I'm just not. So, he makes
my last 30 minutes of the pod there, Joe.
What's that?
I said you took away my last 30 minutes.
We'll save it.
No, go ahead. I'm just making a joke.
I was just gonna say, like, I'm not like people. Like, I don't care. Yes, he makes $11 million. He's made $11 million for a while now. There's no point in bringing it up anymore. That was signed so long ago. It doesn't matter now. I get it. Like, you want more production from that, but everybody knows when you sign these guys at the ages that they sign, the last few years of these deals, you can't expect them to live up to it. Whenever we talk about these long-term deals, especially when you get guys that are going into their later 30s, like you expect, like they're not going to play at $11 million value. Everybody knows that. Like the guy, and maybe this is just me, the homer, the Kings fan. Like
you a homer, really?
Well, I'm not. Yeah, the wet blanket. I'm not here for the Doughty hate. Like he's 30 something. He's mid to high 30s. He's a year off of the huge injury that he had. You know, he had the off season. All that we've gone through that. But like, what did you think? Now, in fairness, like I was like, I'm bullish on a Doughty rebound. Now, that doesn't mean like Doughty's a number one NHL defenseman on a really good playoff team. That just means, okay, we're going to get a better Drew Doughty than we had last.
Doughty's not a number one defenseman at all in the NHL anymore.
I agree, but like that. But I don't know why. Like he's getting thrashed online by Kings fans. It's like, for what's the point? Yes, he makes $11 million. This was signed a long time ago. Get over it. I think like what
because they're tired of thrashing CC. They got a point. They're wasting their breath. And on that note, this is positive Brent Clark fun fact number 1.
Yes.
Since the new year, the LA Kings have scored 14 goals in the 156 minutes Brent Clark has been on the ice, and have only scored 7 goals in the 337 minutes he has not been on the ice.
Whew. So, wow. And he's been so good, and I don't understand what's taking so long for them to like, just play him significant minutes. And the reason
double the minutes and half the goals, Joe.
Right. And it's like, so I got to find Andrew Knoll while you're on the topic. I'm going to shout him out.
Fun fact number 2? Are we doing fun fact number 2?
Well, so can you repeat fun fact number 1 for me again?
Yeah. Fun fact number 1. Since the new year, Kings have scored 14 goals in 156 minutes with Brent Clark on the ice, and they've only scored 7 goals in the 337 minutes he has not been on the ice.
So this is just piggybacking off of that. Okay, ready? Same thing in the calendar year. This is Andrew Knoll on Twitter. 2026 calendar year. Kings have outscored opponents. So they've scored 14 goals, Brandon, only 5 against. So they're outscoring 14-5 with Brent Clark on the ice. Against, you mentioned that they've scored only 7. You know how many they've given up? Now, I'm going to quote this because I love Andrew Knoll's usage of the word incinerated here. With him on the bench, Brent Clark being him, they have been incinerated by a 24-7 count, Brandon. 24-7. And that's what happens when you look at the other guys that are on the ice. Brutal. And that speaks volumes to the rest of the defense group, I think. And just glowingly of Brent Clark, who just continues to shine.
You know what else incinerates? You bet with DraftKings, my man, because you just keep incinerating those prop bets.
Your bank account?
Yeah. Well, hopefully in a positive direction, because DraftKings got you covered with the pick six, every yard, every sack, every interception of these playoffs, every touchdown with pick six, DraftKings' newest game. You can take every snap and turn it into a big-time payout. This isn't just a watching game. This is a playing game because we play to win. Here's how it works. You either pick more or less on 2 or more player stats. The better your picks, the better your payout. It's that simple. And here's the kickoff bonus. New DraftKings customers just get $50 in pick six credits with just a $5 entry on your first pick six bet. You know the game. Now make it pay. Download DraftKings Pick Six app now. Use code THPN. That's code THPN. Play just $5 and get 50 in Pick Six credits. Make the call. Ride the upside in your partnership with DraftKings Pick Six. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. In Connecticut, must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick six not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded at non-withdrawable pick six credits that expire in 14 days. Terms at picksix.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer. I did a pick six on the Niners Eagles game.
There you go.
Yeah. So, I like pick six. I mean, betting on props is a little tough, betting on fantasy stats, but McCaffrey didn't have a touchdown yet. So the odds for an anytime touchdown went up in the second half. And I bet the under on Jalen Hurts' yardage, put down a little $20, took home some wattage.
There we go.
Some cash.
There we go. Hey, back to Dowdy for a second, because I see some in the chat. So don't get it twisted. No, I don't. I'd play Brant Clark more. Okay. Like, no, I wouldn't start him in overtime. I would start Brant Clark. I'm just saying, like, yeah, he's not the Drew Doughty that we want him to be. He's not the Drew Doughty of old. I'm here to admit that. I get that. But, like, it's not his fault that he's playing 25 minutes a night. Like, the coach shouldn't play him as much. They should not do that. Right? Bring back some of his minutes. Feed Clark more minutes. So I don't want to get confused that, like, I think Doughty's the best defenseman on the team, or I think he should be playing more over Clark. I think he should be playing power play. I think he should be playing overtime. None of that. I'm just saying I think the hate's gone a little too far on Doughty, and I think some of it's not necessarily his fault. He's being deployed a certain way. He's being deployed as if he's Drew Doughty from 8 years ago, 10 years ago.
That's all. How many minutes did he play last night? He's
averaging 19.32 per game.
He played 23-29 last night. That's like, that has to be Brant Clark minutes. I think that's right. Like, you can't be playing Doughty over 23 minutes a night.
Brant Clark should be playing with Mikey Anderson as RD1 going forward.
So Doughty had.
I'm cool with
Clark had? Clark had 19. Yeah.
I just want less Joel Edmondson minutes. So
either way, like, he's like, to be fair, like, he's kind of propping up Edmondson at this point. Yeah. It's like, who are you going to put Edmondson with? I mean, him and Doughty haven't really worked, I feel like. And I agree with Joe. Like, Joe, you have to separate the salary from the player. Like, that was in 2019, 2020. It was 6 years ago.
Let me put it this way. If you want to, and I think you had even alluded to it and have had a couple of tweets about Kempe, like, Kempe just signed a deal in his prime, like, as big money. You want to get on a player in his prime for maybe not living up to certain expectations. And I'm not suggesting that Kempe is that, but, like, obviously it's not been as productive a season as you would have hoped for somebody that's just signed an $11 million deal. But, like, that makes more sense than getting on a guy who's at the back end of the deal, who is not going to be the same player. It's not expected to be the same player. The coach happens to play them as if he's the same player, but that's just is what it is. Yeah. And I think, Randon, to your point, like, the minutes that Clark can get, they don't have, like, Doughty can even so. And if we're being honest, like, 23, now I haven't looked to see what he's playing consistently here, but, like, 23, he's used to playing 25, 26. So that is a couple minutes less. I think I don't need to see Dumoulin getting 16 minutes a night. Like, trim those down to 11, spread that out amongst Clark and Doughty for all I care. Like, that's how I would try to trim this is to load up, get rid of some of those bottom minutes from those defensemen. But
giving Cody Ceci more ice time in the third period last night over Brant Clark is just
incredible. Incredible.
Oh my God, that's fireball right there.
It is. It's unbelievable. Ridiculous. It's unbelievable,
especially when you've been chasing offense all game, and you just consistently you continue to do that. Okay, that's when it's like I haven't been on this whole fire. We could talk about Hiller a little bit, but I haven't been on, like, the Hiller fire train really. I feel like at all this year, but, like, the last few games, it's got.
There's plenty of stops if you want to hop on.
I've missed every one, I feel like. And even at the beginning of the year, like, I was cool with Hiller coming back. Like, I get it. Like, I feel like he got a little bit of a leash with what he did last year. But at this point, it's like I'm hopping on the train, Randon. I bought a ticket. I'm taking the trip.
So let's get into that. Let's get into that, Russ. If you brought it up, you bought a ticket, you're on the train, it's at the terminal, we're ready to go. I guess the two questions then: what does a new coach solve for the LA Kings? And two, is there a type of coach that could get more out of the players that we have on the ice.
Yeah, and that's exactly where I kind of am at. It's like what's really going to change, right? Like you're still going to have the same players. You're still going to have the same defense. Maybe deployment can change from the coach. So maybe there's that. I guess that would be like the number one. That's like one of the number one issues I have that we kind of just talked about. So I guess there's that. Maybe players like play harder with a new coach when it's not like I see like some lazy play out there. But even then, like I just said, like it's hard to envision this roster being any better than what it is right now. It's just, I don't know, we're beating a dead horse at this point, but just the way they've built the defense, you're only going to get 1-2 goals a night. We've seen it all season. So, I mean, yeah, we can call for Pete DeBoer as much as we want, but yeah, Pete DeBoer played Cody Ceci as an RD1 last year with Dallas in the playoffs. So it's like, what are you getting there?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want Hiller back, but now that he's been back, I don't know, like you, Russ, I don't know that I've been on like the fire Hiller train, but I will say what's kind of comical is whenever you see the talk of fire Hiller heat up, because the Kings struggle, bang, they'll win like a game that maybe you didn't expect and win it by it. Now I don't know if this is the case. Like my guess is he's never been really even consideration of getting fired. But like it feels like just when things seem to get hot, they win. They struggle. They win back-to-back games against the Wild. And it's like, how does that happen? Then they get smoked after losing to the Sharks. They get smoked by the worst team at the time in the West and the Jets. And it's like, okay, then they go beat the Oilers. And it's like, you know, they seem to like buy Hiller time. And we're at the point of the season where, you know, I don't know how much a new coach, you know, you mentioned deployment. You know, I think stylistically, it's not going to be like a facelift. They're not going to do an overhaul after 46 games or whatever it's been of the season. Like, so I think if it was done early, if they had off to a horrible start and they canned him after 15 games, you know, I think a new coach has more time to really sink his teeth into trying to make some tweaks. Yeah, they're going to be limited, Russ, because their D can't play. So there's going to be a limit as to what they can do. But I still think you can be better than what they've done in terms of creating offense. It doesn't have to be this bad. So, but I don't know, like, to answer the question, I really honestly don't know if it even matters at this point. And if
I got an idea.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it before we got on air with Jim Harbaugh or John Harbaugh and what kind of coach is he? And a lot of people call him a CEO style head coach, a culture guy, a locker room guy, a players guy. You know, there's plenty of talent on this team, and the blue line is a mess regardless of how you look at it. But has Hiller lost the locker room? Every time these players come to the rink, they're just like, man, this is horrible, you know. And Kempe has kind of voiced some concerns, not with the coaching staff, just in general, about how the team's playing, like whether it's not clicking on some level. And when you play 82 games or anything like that, like those styles or those types of things kind of show up when they're coming to the rink and this kind of stuff. And everybody say, hey, these are pros. They need to play as hard as they can all the time. Well, you know, these are also human beings. And I feel like a head coaching change could change the culture, and they could get more out of the players on their team. They could get more out of Fiala. They can deploy Brant Clark as RD1 and put him in an overtime. They could get more out of these players. And then, you know, we can talk about, you know, tinfoil hat later, but, you know, they go out and make a trade at the deadline, use that first to get a young player, maybe with a little bit of term that can be kind of a win now type player and a future player, maybe like a Jordan Kyrou or something like that, to where that player is not only a guy that can help them in the playoffs this year because the Kings have playoff aspirations, but if they decide to go a different direction in the offseason, he's still 27 years old, and you can still mold a team around those types of talents. I don't know. I mean, I just don't want it to be doom and gloom all the time, because this team has, all the cliche things. Oh, we put up 105 points, yada, 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 all that kind of stuff. Can we get the most out of it? Can another coach get the most out of this team? Well, right now it just seems like we're swimming in mud.
So a couple things on that. Like, I do think there's a lot of that I'll buy. Like, I think anytime if you bring in a new coach, new voice, it could just the change in of itself could spark something. But kind of aside to that, like, we don't know who that coach would be. We don't know if it's somebody from the outside. We don't know if it would be an interim coach, like DJ Smith, for example, who's already on the bench. Does that provide the spark that maybe we would think or hope? Point number 2 with the whole lost the room. I don't ever go there because I'm not there. I can't say that. I've always tried to be cautious about like anything room wise, just because that.
But we don't know, but the GM should know.
Well, that GM, and the only thing I'll say is I would say no, because I feel like the Rangers coach has lost the room. They've given up like a shit ton of goals. Like, that team is floundering. You know what I mean? Like, that feels like it's somebody that's losing something over there in the room. Like, I don't necessarily sense that the Kings room is an issue, because as Hiller said in his press conference after the last game, like, they're in all these games, which is true. Like, I feel like if they were not trying or the effort wasn't there, that would start to show up in a little bit more lopsided games going against them. And that's not happening. Now, maybe people could say, thank God for Kemper. In that sense, maybe. So I don't know. I agree that a new coach could be a spark, and it could ignite some things and tweak some things. But I won't go so far as to say that like Hiller lost the room, for example. So I think, but your thought isn't like crazy by any means.
Yeah, I don't think he's lost the room at all, to be honest with you. I mean, it's as much as it's annoying to hear those cliche terms that Hiller's been saying, or pretty much all. I mean, the players have been saying it too, so it's not just Hiller. They've all been saying these cliche terms, like we're playing well, teams playing hard, we're in all these games. I mean, it is kind of true to an extent, and we're analytics people. Like, they're 6th in expected goal share now in the NHL in 5-on-5. So you look at the last 6 games, and it's funny because I like after the game, like, you watch that's why I said, I think I said on the last show that we did, like, this is a team that the eye test does not match the analytics like whatsoever. Because I looked at natural stat trick after the game last night, and I don't know if I have the numbers right here. I can pull it up real quick. It was 2.41 expected goals to 1.55 for Vegas at 5-on-5. Like, you see those numbers, like, that should be a win when you're playing that well. And when you're only allowing 1.55 goals a game, your defense is probably playing pretty well. But, like, to be honest, like, that's where it's like, what are these chances? And then you look at the numbers, like, well, high danger chances are 11-7 LA. It's like, okay, well, what's going on here? And that's where it's like, well, you don't have the actual finish or the actual skill on the back end to really help out with some of these players and some of these forwards, I feel like, up front. And, man, when I watched the team play, specifically last night, like, for whatever reason, nobody wants to take the pucks to the middle of the ice. It's just all perimeter play.
Yeah, so this is where it's tough. From as people that like analytics, and we use natural stat trick and all the public sites for as much as we can. But the one thing is, like, when you look at how natural stat trick, for example, you look at their scoring chances, high danger chances, like, so it's 11 to whatever, like, so one shot can count as 2 high danger chances, if that makes sense, depending on the location, and it's all shot location. Okay. So this is where private models, this is where like Sport Logic, this is where Clearsight Analytics, these are private. We don't have access to them. I think media and teams can have access to them. Obviously, teams have their own stuff, but like those will factor in the pre-shot. So like the Kings can rack up a lot of expected goals because they, despite what the broadcast says, they have a shot mentality. So they shoot from a lot of different places. So even though it's from a perimeter, if you shoot enough of those, they will accumulate into like expected goals just from each individual shot. May not be high expected goals, but as they accumulate. But like, so a shot from the slot, not every shot from the slot is created equal, right? If you have a shot from the slot because you know there's a scramble and the loose puck is there, but the goalie's set, that shot from the slot on natural stat trick is going to count the same as like there's a pass from behind the goal, there's a pass from the seam through. Goalie's got to now move side to side. Shot could be from the exact same spot, but what happened pre-shot on the pass or whatever changes everything, right? So that's where, you know, that is difficult. That's what makes it difficult to analyze when it's going strictly off a shot location. This is why before the high school season started for me, I was trying to do the scoring chance tracking because I'm trying to see like, okay, who's creating the passes? Who's creating passes to the slot that are going to lead to higher quality chances as opposed to just somebody getting a shot from the slot? How are we setting those up? Right? Because you said it, Russ, like we've seen it for a couple of years now. The Kings will get in, they'll go around the perimeter, fire a shot from the perimeter, and then they go whack-a-mole from the top of the crease. If you look at their hockey viz chart, like you're going to see the perimeter's loaded and right at the crease is loaded. Nothing in the slot is from a heat map because they get a lot of shots and they go crazy for rebounds, right? That's what they try to do. That's what they deem to be effective. So yeah, like that is, it's so hard. I mean, and we all use them. We all use expected goals and shot attempts. And like the Kings are obviously not playing so bad to where they're, you know, the Blue Jackets or one of the worst teams in the league, right? They have, because they're so structured, they're going to limit teams so much defensively. That's going to drive a lot of that expected goal share and Corsi share is they give up nothing defensively. So from a share standpoint, it's going to be high. And I'd be curious to know like what a Clearsight Analytics or what some of these other private models have in terms of like where the Kings sit in their models, kind of expected goals for and scoring chances for, because it's hard, you know, that's not going to get captured all the time in some of the public models.
Let's switch it up a little bit. Let's do a little coast to coast where we're going to be. You want to play a game, guys? We're going to play a game together here. And a lot of other podcasts do this. I thought it'd kind of be fun. So I'm going to share my screen here if you guys are watching live on the feed here. And then you guys can follow along on the radio tomorrow morning. But let's see. There we go. Players 25 and under. So we're going to do a blind ranking.
Oh, boy.
Blind ranking. And you and Russ got to come up with this list here. I'm going to name 5 players who are 25 and under. And you rank them on a scale from 1 to 5. But you guys got to come up with that ranking together. Sound like fun?
Okay.
Oh, blind. Okay, I see where this is. Okay, so I think I've
so
seen.
You don't know the players
Instagram.
coming
in.
Okay.
Yeah,
you don't know the players coming. Okay,
got this. Okay,
all right.
Like
First player, Seth Jarvis.
I say 4.
I like 4.
4.
There's a wide range of players 25 and under that I feel like could be.
But I think Jarvis probably
there.
Jarvis is really freaking good.
Yeah. Are you surprised he was left off the Canada roster? I was kind of surprised by that.
A little bit.
I guess it's kind of hard to make that
no,
roster, but
he was on the Four Nations roster, right?
I believe so. I think he was like a reserve player.
Yeah. All right. Second player, Rasmus Dahlin.
He's still not 25.
Oof.
He's 20. He is 25. 25 and under.
Okay. So, and just to be clear,
I might let Joe take this one.
Just to be clear, like these are random players.
Yeah.
So
like, it could be anybody 25 and under in the National Hockey League.
Okay, because like I don't like, to me, like, so like Celebrini I would have as like 1, but he might not be in this.
Yeah, right? He might not be on the list. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I would say Dahlin. I'm going to save those top 2 spots just in case you call somebody else, but I'll say Dahlin's 3.
I'm with Joe on that one. That's what I was going to say.
All right.
3.
All right.
I wonder how much
Jack
he'll play on Team Sweden.
Hughes.
Who?
Jack Hughes.
1.
That was quick.
Oh man, we're giving away that one spot.
I know it's a little
2
risky.
guys left. It's hard to beat that though, right?
It's a little risky, but like there's only 2 left, so I'll go 1.
Celebrini, Bedard, me. I guess Hughes is like maybe a top 10 player, so it's hard to beat that. We're gonna get screwed. Randon's gonna be like, all right, Connor Bedard and Macklin Celebrini, and then still Bedard to be 5. Yeah, I guess. Ah man, I want to say 2. Is there a 1.5? Can we go 1.5?
No?
1B.
I'll do. Let's do 1. Yeah.
1. All right.
All right, Randon. Screw us. Who do you got?
Jake Sanderson.
Oh man, it's my guy.
So good.
Dude, I would put him above Hughes. Like he's such a good player. Like he's so good.
So good.
What the Olympics, he's gonna be one of the best defensemen on the team.
I think
Easily.
this is okay though. Like I this is not a knock. I'm gonna put him at 5 just because I want to keep that 2 slot, Russ, just in case. But
That's how I felt.
but I'm with Russ. Like he's so good.
So where are we going? We going 5?
Russ, what do you think?
Yeah,
because
let's
it's a
go
big
5.
gap. 2 and
Yeah.
5 is a big because we could get
I would probably slot him above Darlene, to be honest with you. I like him that much. Like I would put him 3 and then move the other 2 down.
Okay. I mean, I like
We can't do that.
You like Darlene, I know.
I still do Darlene over Sanderson, but I'm here for the conversation. You know, Russ, we should know that we know he's going to pick Brant Clark, and we're going to have to.
It's true. Hey, can we talk about the Senators real quick? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, this is coast to coast.
I
This is supposed to
don't
spark
know.
everything.
I don't know. Well, you know, they're pretty boring in their own right. So I think that's probably part of it. But I don't. Are they not getting saves? Because that team,
yeah,
that team shouldn't be this bad.
No, there's so much talent.
They
on
have
that
a
roster
league worst
defensively.
5-on-5 save percentage.
Their PDO's got to be terrible.
They have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Their bottom 10 PDO. They have at 5-on-5, and they have a league worst 5-on-5 save percentage. How about this? Ready for this? Ready for the bottom 5 teams in save percentage of 5-on-5? Ottawa Senators, Anaheim Ducks, Edmonton Oilers, Vegas Golden Knights, Florida Panthers.
How is that possible?
The Ducks I get because their defense has been god awful lately. The Oilers is interesting.
I wonder what the
like
Oilers is like the last 15 games or so.
I feel like they're trying to play like that style, but yeah, they're goaltending. Like, why the hell did they trade for Jari? Golden Knights is interesting too.
That one's surprising.
They signed Carter Hart for whatever reason.
Stinks.
Who was the other team? The Panthers?
Yep.
Bobrovsky, Big Bob.
Yeah. I give him benefit of the doubt. He's on a 2-time hangover. Give him a break.
Anaheim has the worst. Anaheim has a PDO almost below 90, almost below 900.
They're giving up like so many chances. I watch. Dude, did you like? I know you don't stay up to watch a lot of Ducks games, but I watch those games and it's like there's an odd man rush like every 2 minutes going the other way. It's
so that's
crazy.
Like they were winning all those games early and because they got a lot of fun players. And they were getting a ton of saves from Dostal, and like once that kind of dries up, they to your point, like they're giving up a crap ton of chances, and like when I think the Kings beat them up pretty good, it's like if there's a team that is, even if they're good, even if Anaheim is going well, like they're gonna be ripe for a game where they get absolutely throttled just because of how much they give up chance wise. Like they got to tighten that up. So I agree with that, but
this could be. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I think just going back to Ottawa quickly. I think the goaltending is the biggest thing with Ottawa right now. I just don't think they're getting the saves.
Do you think they? There's some pretty decent defenders on that team. Do you think any of them get shipped out, or any actually pretty decent players on that team?
Ottawa,
yeah.
I don't know. I would hope
this
not.
guy Jordan Spence is pretty good.
I would hope not for their sake, but that's tough. It's the fact that they're stuck in this kind of Malaysia. That's a problem because they they were looking much better earlier in the season. And yeah, things are not going well. It's just amazing what happens if you don't get a save.
Yeah, 5 points out of a playoff spot. Claude Giroux could be an interesting name to watch there.
Yeah, somebody like that, maybe I could see. I mean, you look at the roster, like this is a good player after good player, right? Stutzler, Kachuk, Cousins, Batherson, Zetterlund, Perron's
Greek guy.
older at this point, but Shane Pinto's a stud. Ridley Gregg, like there's a lot of good players here. And you mentioned the D with Sanderson, Shabbat, Spence is really good. I mean, I think, they need a save. Well, and actually too, Allmark's got some personal stuff going on. So they're rolling with like they signed James Reimer.
Yeah.
So they got issues in goal.
So are we going 2 or 5, boys?
Okay, Brandon. Where do you want to go with Sanderson, Russ?
Let's go 5. Okay. Let's leave 2.
All right. And I'm going to type this name out. Number 2 is Celebrini.
Oh, yeah.
All right, that's okay.
That's not a bad list.
Jack,
No.
I mean, Jack Hughes is
he said Celebrini for people listening. He left Celebrini.
Yeah,
I knew he would.
So yeah, I like it, random.
That's not a bad list, though.
No.
So these were so you just choose them at random, and then
yeah,
that's pretty good. I think if you gave me so now knowing the names, Russ, what would your order be?
Celebrini 1.
Okay.
Hughes 2. Sanderson, Darlene, Jarvis. That would be my list.
I think I would flip Celebrini, Hughes. I might keep it 3, 4, 5. I might move Sanderson ahead of Jarvis. I might just keep Darlene, Jarvis, Sanderson. So now we're getting to the point where I feel like Darlene is so good that he's boring good.
We haven't talked about the Sabres, man. Like, what the hell?
I think it's a good list, boys. Good job.
We saw this
on your first one.
Yeah,
I think it's a pretty good list too. But we got to. I guess we get a couple minutes for the Sabres. Maybe we saw this coming, right? Like, I picked them to make the playoffs. Like, you convinced me that's a solid defensive core when you have Bowen Byram and Darlene and Owen Power and is Kesselring even playing?
He's been in and out of the lineup with injury. That's the crazy thing is he's not been healthy. Now, I don't think Josh Norris played today because he left last games early. That is a problem. I don't know the severity of that, but they just won back-to-back games, and they've won 14 out of 16 games, I think it is.
I think it's 15 out of 17 now.
Yeah, maybe 15 out of 17. Their win today pulled them. I guess I don't know if the standings are fully updated, but they're within a couple points of Montreal now, and they're 5 back of the division. They're in a playoff spot and a wild card spot. And it all happened after Kekalainen got brought in, which is kind of bizarre because it's what's the GM? It's not like you're changing a coach. It's the GM. It's amazing that it's had this type of an impact. But I want to go, you mentioned Kesselring. I got to go back to that trade because we talked about the trade of Peterka. I thought it was a great deal for Buffalo. Not to say it was a bad deal for Utah because I think Peterka is a really good high-end player, but I love Kesselring that much. And Russ, you've always liked Josh Doan as a prospect. The season he's putting together right now is outstanding. He's outperforming Peterka. He's been great. So I think for Buffalo, this is a team that now I didn't necessarily expect it to go the way it's gone, where they were dead last for a while and then they rattle off 15 out of 17. I wouldn't have predicted that, but predicted them to be a team that's in the playoff hunt and make playoffs. And right now, that's where they sit because I think there's a lot of talent on this team. I think the decor is great. Anybody watching Buffalo, Bo Byram has looked awesome this season. Awesome. And they've got kind of a mishmash hashtag goalies, and all of them are kind of doing enough right now. Ellis has played well. Lyon, UPL has had his moments, but he's really shored up lately. And that's all with Levi in the minors. So it's been great
Don't hold on to your goalie prospects.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So that's the thing. So Russ, like the Sabres they signed UPL, right? They're 6K. They're big. They're at the time was obviously a really good prospect for them. They've got Devin Levi in the minors. It's like they're setting goaltending for the next forever. And the two goalies that have arguably played the best this year are Alex Lyon and Colton Ellis. So what are we doing? And Levi's been in Rochester all season. So it's like, goalies, man, like Colton Ellis they got 3 goalies and they don't know what to do because UPL signed and he's young and he's still, got a bright future. Lyon is just such a solid NHL backup that you probably hate to lose him. And Ellis has played so good, they don't want to put him back through waivers because he's going to go. So, it's
Oilers will be like, thank you. We'll take him.
Right. Yeah. If I was the Oilers, by the way, I would have tried to go get Alex Lyon. I would have called Buffalo for a Lyon or even Ellis. I had a freaking Tristan.
You wouldn't have traded for a $5 million Tristan Jarry.
God almighty. So yeah, but it's awesome to see. It's fun. Like the Buffalo played Montreal today, and that building is just rocking now. Like that, and that was as big a game as Buffalo's had in a long time. And division game that with 2 big points on the board, and they ended up winning. Tage Thompson had a hat trick, so they're buzzing. It's fun. I hope they keep it up. Obviously, Russ and I placed a wager on them to make playoffs before the season started. So obviously, I'm pulling for them there too. So
it's the Mark Bergevin effect.
It looks like the last time the Buffalo Bills and Sabres made the playoffs together was 98-99.
Wow, there we go. There's a stat. That's great.
Was the 99? Was that the Music City Miracle? Randon?
I thought that was 01. With Tennessee?
I'm not sure.
Was Tennessee? Was that 01?
I think it was 01.
Okay, I don't remember. Sure. So the reason I remember I was on a bus after a high school game. I was playing at the time, and remember we didn't have phones. Like you didn't have phones like we have now. You could watch the game. We were like listening to it on somebody's freaking radio, like a little handheld radio.
2000.
Okay, so it was the following. I thought it was the 99 season, some fashion, whether it was the 99 or 99 2000. Okay.
Well, that'll do
on your radio.
Listen on your handheld radio. Well, that'll do it for Coast to Coast. We're gonna get back into some Kings talk here. And the only kind of Kings talk that I think the fans clamor for, it seems to be doom and gloom, but there's nothing doom and gloom about this topic because you know what time it is. We're bringing out that tinfoil hat, baby. We're talking about some trades. So buckle up because here we go. Coming back in, talking about the trades. The hat is on. It has been not used for a long time.
I got my imaginary tinfoil hat on.
Metaphorical hat. I think the big one that, man, lit up my Twitter feed because I just pretty much retweeted that the Kings should inquire, and I got all this Vancouver hate. Was Ep214 said a lot of people said Dave Pagnotta said that he is still available and they are fielding calls on him. What do you guys feel about Elias Pettersson, and what kind of package do you think it would take? According to Dave, they feel like Elias, it wouldn't be an extreme package because of the money and the way he's been playing the last 2 seasons. Is he a fit for the LA Kings? Let's just start. How do you guys feel about the player?
I've never been overly high on Pettersson, but this isn't to say that like he's not like a legitimate like 1C, I feel like, in the league. So yeah, like I believe he's got a 100-point season under his belt.
Yeah.
How many Kings players have done that in the last 40 years? So yeah. So I mean, compared to what the Kings have now, he'd probably easily be the best player on the team.
When you look at their lack of center quality, he'd comfortably be their best, I think. So I can't quit the player. I totally understand why if people are out on him because of, I get it. I understand it. Now I'll say I don't think I'd get Ep214 and put him in the existing Kings situation. Like, I would wish for a better environment, better style of play, let him have a bit more freedom. So I don't know how he would fit in this particular Kings system, but when I just look at the player in a vacuum, it's like he's really good. He's really talented. For whatever reason, things haven't gone the last couple of years as they should have. Although I don't think he's having a bad year this year. Offhand, I don't have.
Well,
I have
Randy,
the
there's not a
stats
good-
up. He has 28. He has 28 points in 38 games. But
Okay.
since the new year, he's pacing a point per game since the new year started. So he's
I mean, they're
starting to tick up. And I think he would play well in this system. One, he has played with Kempe on the national team, so you have that kind of familiarity. And he's gotten nods for the Selke Trophy two seasons, so it's not like he's
Okay.
not defensively
Fair enough.
sound. I feel like he can play within structure. And 3, he doesn't have to be a locker room presence. Right now, he's dependent on being the captain because the captain has been traded away, so he's dependent on being that. The big riff with him and JT Miller that he's not active in the locker room, like he doesn't care, he's all this and that, but maybe that's just the opinion of JT Miller, wanting a more vocal leader. Well, he doesn't have to be a leader on this team. We got Kopitar, we got Doughty, we got Kempe. He can just come here and play. And lastly, a lot of players have said this. Cy Young winner Zach Greinke, amongst a bunch of others, saying, hey, it's nice to play in a smaller media market where I don't have to get hounded by questions every single day. I mean, could you imagine a captain in Vancouver? Like, I had people on Twitter saying, like, hey, I follow this podcast that dissects every single line shift, and we look at, body language and all this kind of stuff. Like, that can be exhausting. Maybe he just wants to play hockei.
Yeah.
And have it be fun again. And I just look at a bunch of players, Sam Darnold, you looked at like Jack Eichel, amongst others. Both those players were highly drafted, and all their fan bases said that this guy will never win a championship. This guy can't win anywhere. He's a cancer. All that kind of stuff. Well, Jack Eichel has won a Stanley Cup, and Sam Darnold has resurrected his career. So, I look at it this way, and I don't pretend to know, just like Joe, you don't pretend to know if a coach is lost the locker room. I don't pretend to know what is inside the guy's head and his heart, because you look at the latest interview with Tom Brady on Spitting Chicklets. He talked about at 25, he was good. At 35, he was great. And at 45, he was a master of his game because he mastered the emotional and the mental part of the game. And that comes with age, and that comes with time, and it comes with work. And maybe Elias Pettersson just needs a new scenery and is able to resurrect his career. Now, I mean, the LA Kings aren't a juggernaut, so Joe, I understand that you maybe would want a different style for an offensive player like that, but he's defensively sound, and he can play within structure. I think it would be a move for right now. In the future, the only thing that scares me is the 11 mil that you're taking on.
I really like your just get out of that market, the crazy Vancouver market, and then getting to a place like LA where he can just go and play and not have to answer not a single soul difficult question. If you watch those Kings media sessions, yeah, the 11.6 is a lot. For what's he got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more years left, but he is still only 27 right now. I like him. I would do it. Now, I don't know. So because obviously Jim Rutherford, I think, is what spurred all this by saying that, he'll listen on anybody basically.
Yeah.
So, that's what I think really opened up a lot of this. What does a trade look like for Pettersson? Like, he's got so much term, and
4 years after this year. I don't think that's.
Is it? I thought he had like
Yeah.
6 more years. I think he's a UFA at 2032.
I think it's 4 last I checked. I could be wrong. I think I just checked.
So here's the thing: cap Puckpedia lists 4 more years, but when you see UFA, it says 2032. Like, I don't know if
okay, so
about
that's
that far.
yeah. Okay, so I was wrong there. My bad.
So
Yeah, at least
like that's that can be scary. That's a lot of years. At 11.6.
But
so
they're all in the prime of his career. I mean, he'll
Agreed.
be in 2032. He'll be 32 years old.
yeah. That's the thing too. Like I kind of agreed to what Randon's saying is you're getting a player who's been playing in a market like Vancouver at his maybe I don't want to say immature years, but a player who's kind of just learning, I guess, the aspects of being an NHLer and being an NHLer who has probably a lot of expectations built on top of him, and probably with the bar he kind of set with that 100-point season hasn't really lived up those expectations since then, and it's just not a good team right now. And then all the other outside things that have happened with the JT Miller thing and whatnot and traded there, so. I mean, it's not like JT Miller's helping out the Rangers right now, but it's so you kind of think about all that. Like, and I kind of see where Johnny Utah's saying it, there would be some fans that would just look at the same situation that happened with Dubois. Like, would this be similar there where we're talking about a player who's maybe not accustomed to playing that LA Kings style system? So, and I get it. Maybe it's just, I mean, that's just, we're scarred, right? Like we've already seen this kind of situation happen where you have to trade a bunch of assets to get a player who has maybe some off the ice issues or maybe just issues in itself. Who, I mean, it's all unknown, right? Like it's just been reported is what it is, speculated, whatever.
But doesn't that make them cheaper?
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is like you look at that cap hit, like we're all looking at it like, whoa, like, and some people in the chat are saying like 11.6 for Elias Pettersson. That kind of seems like kind of pricey. I can imagine a lot of NHL teams are probably thinking the same thing. So, like for me, like the Kings are so desperate for a center, and if they want to be anything close to a contender, like you have to get a player in the similar mold, I guess, of an Elias Pettersson to come in. And it's like it's not like those type of players just kind of grow on trees, right? Like there's not going to be like another like how many Jack Eichel type players are just going to be available in the offseason. That's not going to happen. I mean, maybe Robert Thomas is a player that some people have mentioned who could be available. We'll see what happens there. But if the Kings do want to be any sense of a contender in the near future here, you're going to have to make this deal. I will say, though, like, I'm not trading away like a Quentin Byfield for an Elias Pettersson because I feel like then you're just kind of spinning your wheels in the mud at that point because now it's like, well, you just moved out one young center who maybe kind of already fits this mold that the Kings style want to play, even though he's not producing. And then you bring in another one who you don't even know if he's going to fit this style of mode and who even knows if he's going to produce at the same kind of production he did in Vancouver. So yeah, like I'm with you, Brandon. Like I'm cool with the Elias Pettersson trade, but there has to be some kind of limitation to what I'm willing to offer.
I got to say, because he's had one bad, like you look.
I have those stats up and everything.
Yeah, I'm looking now. Like I feel like people.
So he had he's been the All-Star 4 times, and you're talking about as a rookie at 20, he was 66 points, 21, so it was an injured season, 68, 102, 89, and then last year was 45.
But yeah, and so real quick though, on that 68, so the 21-22 season, he had 68 points, but that came with 32 goals. Then the 100-point season where he had 39 goals, and then an 89-point season where he had 34 goals. So three straight seasons of 30 goals. Now, it was the last year, 24-25, where he had just 15 goals and 45 points in 64 games that's got everybody all sour. And this year, I think he missed some time early this year too. He's only played 39 games. Mm-hmm. So he missed some time. Like Brandon said, he's starting to play better of late. But like when you're looking at it, you've got his 189, and then the year before his 100 year at age 23, he had 68 points, but that was 32 goals. Like, I don't know. I see one year where the production is like really disappointing, which was, admittedly last year, the most recent year. Fair enough. But I think what worries me is, the PLD thing. Again, I think as you all know, and I won't change my mind on it. I still think PLD, there was a lot of reasons why that made sense, why Rob Blake did that. He saw where the center position was for the Kings, and he tried to get ahead of it. I give him a lot of credit for that. The trade didn't work, and I don't think it was because the player. You saw the season he just had in Washington, a really good season in Washington last year. He's been good everywhere but LA, and I think that's on LA more than it is the player. And so that's what kind of worries me with Pettersson. What I was getting at was like, are we going to really see Pettersson, or are we going to see Dubois in LA? That's a fair worry, but to me, that's on LA. That's not on the player. So I don't know. I mean, but if you're telling me that you can get him because of that contract at a discount, I am all ears, guys. I'm all ears.
I mean, I'm seeing
what is that discount. What is it like?
I mean, I'm seeing like a roster player to move to make the salary work, like a Trevor Moore or something like that, and like a Green Tree and a 1. Like that's what I'm seeing.
You need like a lot of salary to get that. To get
well,
that
the thing
to
is,
work.
though, it's like how much salary do the Kings really need to move out? They already moved out Duneau.
Jack, good point.
So point. I don't know, and it's not like they have a ton of. I mean, they have a ton of cap space next year and moving forward. So I think this year they'd be able to make it work without moving out too much salary. But I don't know if that trade would work. I feel like you'd have to get at least a first, a player like Green Tree, even though like who knows like who even if they even covet a player like that. I mean, we're talking about a first.
I mean, the current cap space is 11 million.
Yeah. I mean, it's prorated too. So
you wouldn't
when
even
you
have
bring
to
him
move
in,
out.
I would think you'd probably have to trade away like one of the goalies too. Would have to be involved.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. If you could get away with doing this deal
without,
because they're rebuilding, they're tearing it down. So it's not. They don't need roster players.
If you could do it like without Green Tree, and you could trade one of the goalie prospects, and a first, and then a contract. I know, Randon, like you said, you don't maybe necessarily need to do that, but I think keep in mind, like the Kings are probably going to want to make another, like, I don't know what the plan is for this. If this is a deadline type deal, trading a roster piece, and this would give them a little bit more flexibility to make another move somewhere else too. But yeah, if they could do that with one of the goalies, especially, and find a way to do that and keep Green Tree, that would be awesome. But
a lot of these contenders don't have 11 mil, and John Utah says, and keep the entire 11 mil. If the Kings are willing to do that, and then Vancouver doesn't have to keep salary, like you're not going to have to give up a lot of pieces. I feel like a lot of teams are going to require Vancouver to keep some of the salary, and for keeping it for 6 years left, that's a lot of time to have that on the books.
You'd probably have to get rid of give out like a Turcotte or Laferriere involved in it too.
I'm fine with that.
Because they're going to want some assets there.
So
because we can talk about
Laferriere, a goalie, and a first.
That's interesting. As much as I would hate it, but yeah, I mean, you're given to get.
Now
the question here is: would you give Byfield for EP40 straight up?
No.
So here's the thing on that. It doesn't make sense for the Kings because they're depleted at center. Like they don't have enough center quality to do that. I don't think, and I don't know if this is blasphemy for me to say, like that's not a crazy trade. Like if you say the Kings were fine at center, right? Say Kopitar wasn't retiring, or say Dubois worked, or Turcotte evolves and he's a second line center, blah, blah, blah. Pick your scenario. Like
Dubois was still here.
Yeah, whatever. Like pick your, if like, is Byfield for EP40 crazy? Like what's Byfield done to make him untouchable in a deal that gets a player like that with that caliber, who had 3 straight 30-goal seasons, 89 points, 100 points. You know what I mean? Like, and he's 27 right now. It's not like he's 33. Like I'm not trading Byfield for Artemi Panarin, right? For example, like, I'm not doing something like that, but for a 27-year-old center, maybe to people that reeks of the Velarde for Dubois deal. And I understand that, but again, I think there was logic in that. Now, but I think where it doesn't make sense is like, then you have another hole filled down the middle, that's
it's just the same
thing.
But
to me, then you're only doing that move if you don't believe Byfield's a 1C, because Elias Pettersson is a 1C.
Well, but you could believe Byfield's a 2C, And so, because if you trade Byfield, now you need a 2C, right?
It's easier to find those.
The problem is they don't have enough depth or quality at the position. It's too early to say Turcotte's going to take. He's playing great right now, but are you going to go into next season with Turcotte as 2C? Probably not. I think Byfield, but at the same token, can you go into next season with a Byfield as your 1C? That's probably not. So they're in a tough spot here.
And it might not be. I mean, this might not. I mean, I think EP might not be a deadline move. It might be an offseason move.
That could make a lot of sense. Yeah, I mean,
because Vancouver seems like they're tearing it down.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I think they are, and I think the Rutherford's not. He doesn't give a shit. Like he if he says somebody's available, he'll move them. Like they're gone. So, and I don't think he specified Pettersson, but like he's not afraid to trade. So, I wouldn't be shocked at all if Pettersson gets dealt. Now, again, maybe to your point, Randon, just to get more teams involved, this is a off-season deal. But so now, are you looking at this as like a deadline deal? What do the Kings need to? What in your guys' mind do you think the Kings need, and or what do you think they'll go after? And is that what you're thinking, Randon? This would be like a deadline thing, or is this kind of?
I think it could be any. I think it could be any type of deal, because to me, it's like, I think it's a deal that fits all types of scenarios in the offseason, right? Like I mean, right now my name is Retool Randon because I feel like this team needs a new identity. Elias Pettersson can be a player for this season, right? He slots down everybody else on the lineup. Kopitar can play 2C, Turcotte can play 3C, or Turcotte can play 2C and Kopitar can play 3C.
Well, you have Turcotte at 4C and you have Kopitar at 3C and Byfield at 2C. I mean, that's pretty solid center. Yeah, it's pretty solid center depth. Yeah.
So, you can have all that going on, and the team has already shown and has said that and every action has said that they're trying to win this year.
Yes.
So like, retooling as much as I want it and a lot of fans want, or rebuilding or tearing it down to the studs, that's going to require a lot more movement because Joel Edmondson, Cody Ceci, Dumoulin are not those players.
And nobody wants them.
So you're going to have to pay assets to get rid of them, and then recoup the debt that you gave up to get rid of them.
Yep.
So,
thanks, Colin.
Yeah. So it's just, to me, a guy that you could get rid of would be a Kopitar. He's got 1 year left. He's retiring. He's got the pedigree. If he wanted to go off and try to win another cup, he could do that and be a cup contenders.
They just plan like an April 2nd, like Kopitar celebration year. He's not going anywhere.
No, I'm just saying. No,
yeah.
No, but I'm saying like he's the type of player that would be, and his contract is not outrageous, and the Kings could retain salary if they wanted to go down that avenue. But it doesn't seem like the Kings are. The Kings are going to make a move at the deadline. I fully believe they will. How crazy will they get? Like, I don't know. But like Elias Pettersson in a vacuum, I believe is still a good player. I believe he needs to get out and change his life. There's not many players that have 3 straight 30-goal seasons. Like, I don't feel like he's lost how to play hockey. Yeah. Like, I don't feel like he's lost how to play hockey.
Centerman had that.
Yeah.
So if the team this year, he can play, he's a Selke candidate. He can play defense. He can play within structure. He can maybe get more out of Kempe.
He's played with Kuzmenko.
He's played with Kuzmenko. So maybe you have the Kuzmenko, Kempe, and Pettersson line.
Kuzmenko, Fiala, Pettersson. There we go.
There you go. So you have that kind of player, and then he's a 1C for the future. He's young enough to retool this team. If the team wanted to retool on the fly this offseason and move some things around and really get active and bring in a different GM and bring in a different head coach and totally just scrum it and like change the identity of this team, he's still a linchpin option for the 1C position and a guy that you can build around. The thing that bothers me is that, yeah, it's a risk at $11.6 million. But if we're going out and getting guys that aren't risk, like say you go out and get a Matthew Tkachuk style trade, you're giving up everything to get a player like that because there is no risk to a Matthew Tkachuk. Like you gave up Huberdeau, who was a 100-point player, to get Matthew Tkachuk. Like that was what you gave up to kind of switch that around. So if you're going out and getting a Brady Tkachuk or a big name player like that that's on a losing team right now that has captain potential and one of the top players in the league, you're giving up Byfield and Clark and a 1, and like that's not helping you rebuild, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, I feel like he's a player, and I feel like he's a player that can accomplish both things within this team. And if they wanted to make a splashy move at the deadline, I don't think he'd be expensive because Vancouver's trying to rebuild. According to everybody on my Twitter feed in Vancouver, he's a cancer and all this kind of stuff like that. They want him out of there. And I just think, like I laid it out before, all he has to do is come here and play. He doesn't have to come here and wear a letter. He can just show up to LA, enjoy the better weather, talk to his Swedish friends and Adrian Kempe, play some good hockey, be in the playoffs again, and maybe revitalize his career. I don't think it's a perfect trade because I don't think there ever is a perfect trade, but it makes sense for both teams. The only thing that doesn't make sense is the fact that Vancouver and LA are in the same division, and you hardly ever see stalwart linchpin players get moved within the division because then Vancouver would have to see Pettersson for the next 6 seasons. But if they're trying to tear it down and rebuild, then they're not going to be contending for 3 or 4 years. They won't care. So
I'm here.
You're going to talk me into this, Brandon.
I'm again, my only hesitation has nothing to do with the player, has everything to do with like, is the stylistic fit, but I think you've sold me on that. I'm here for the player. Show me if I can find out what the cost is, and then we'll go from there. Like I'm in on Pettersson because I think he's a great player.
Pretty much, if they don't give up Byfield and Clark, I'm game for the trade.
Yeah, if you're able to keep Byfield, you have a 1-2 punch of Pettersson Byfield now down the middle. Like now we're kind of talking. I mean, like so you're probably looking at like I said, like a first, like a Carter George type, and like LaFerriere for Pettersson. I feel like that's
maybe another second or some other little small piece there.
That might get you somewhere. I would like to get Kane back in return too.
You've been on that since the offseason, Russ.
I want Evander Kane on this team.
Yeah, you do.
I need somebody like that.
Could any Kings team be? Could any Kings fan would have imagined if Corey Perry and Evander Kane were on the same roster?
Yeah, seriously.
I've already have to watch this defense play. I've already sold my soul with Perry, so why not go even further?
I think let's talk about another big one. Since I already got the hat on, why take it off? A lot of people are talking about the St. Louis Blues and Rob Thomas. What do you guys feel about the player? What do you guys feel about maybe would he have more cost or less cost than Elias Pettersson? Kind of, what's your guys' vibe on that situation?
I think he would cost. I definitely think. Well, he's hurt right now, but I definitely think he would makes $3.5 million less for one less year than does Pettersson, and I don't think there's quite the same amount of baggage, if you will.
Interesting.
Around Robert Thomas.
You say he costs more, huh?
Who's that?
That. You think Thomas would cost more than Pettersson?
Because of the contract, I think there's a possibility that he could cost more, and he's there. He's a star for St. Louis. He's their top centerman. So at 26 years old, I feel like that could be costly. So
5 more years on his deal. He'll be a UFA at 31 years of age, and his cap hit is $3 million less.
Yeah, he's the more traditional playmaking center, right? Where he's. I don't think he's ever scored 30, and I don't think he would score 30, but I think he's going to, he's probably like a 20-60. He's had 80 points a few times, right?
Yeah, 81, 86.
Okay, and he's probably got I would imagine he scored 20 and probably like 65 assists, stuff like that.
He had 77 points in 72 games one year.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, you're right. Like he hadn't hit 100 like Pettersson, and he's not going to score 30 like Pettersson, but he's still a productive player. And again, I just think around Pettersson right now, there's so much baggage. You have a team in Vancouver that is offering up they're going to rebuild. He's got 5 or 6 more years at $11.5 million. There's a lot of, and he's coming off a career worst year. So there's a lot going on there where you look at Thomas, a more favorable contract from a term and from a dollar standpoint, $3.5 per year is quite a bit. He's coming off a damn near back. He's coming off back-to-back 80-point seasons. Actually, no, last year was a career. He had 81 points in 70 games last year. That 81 points was not in an 82-game season. That was in 70 games. So he's coming off a career year. What does he have this year? He's got 33 points this year in 42 games. And, you know, that would certainly signal a retool like for St. Louis. I think Thomas would be more costly. I don't know if I'm crazy in saying that, but I kind of think he would be when you look at all the circumstances around him. I think he could be more costly. But like if that starts with Carter George a first, and I'm in. You know, if you were to, I almost think maybe I'm just way off on this Pedersen value thing, and I'm overreading some of the baggage stuff and the contract stuff. But I think George first and LaFerriere is a pretty healthy. I think it's a pretty decent offer because of the package, because of you coming off a bad year, not lighting up this year.
Probably have to add another draft pick or so, like
$11.5 million for 6 more years. Yeah, like you look at all that. So I don't know. Maybe the offers, maybe the deals are somewhat similar. Then Russ, how about that? Like maybe if that's your offer, if you would do that for Pedersen, would you do that for Thomas?
No,
you would not.
I wouldn't do that for Thomas.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Thomas as a player. I just don't think that's a player they should be spending a whole lot of assets for. Like Pedersen has shown he can produce, and he's even producing now, even without Quinn Hughes, which I think that would be a big question mark. So that's a player I would be like, okay, like even with all the baggage, like Brandon could sell me a new car apparently, but yeah, like I'm with it. Like at this point, like he's shown he can produce. He can be like with the whole like baggage thing. You come to LA, and that's not an environment you have to worry about too much in terms of expectations, and it kind of shores up your 1C. Whereas Thomas, I feel like you just have like you'd have like two 2Cs in that aspect. Maybe I'm selling Byfield or Thomas short there, but Pedersen, I feel like would be a legitimate, like, okay, we can put him out there for 20 plus minutes a night, 22 plus minutes a night. You can have Byfield out there, and then you have Turcotte 3C and whoever 4C. Kind of like that lineup.
What do you think, Brandon? I feel like Russ may be underselling Thomas a little bit, because Thomas brings that he brings a bit of edge to his game too. So
there's no worry in terms of his. Yeah, there's no worry in terms of like how he plays.
You like that dog, right?
I do like the dog. I like that dog.
So I don't know. What do you think, Brandon?
No, I feel like he's less risky. So like I feel like that the assets you're giving up and what you're getting in return. I feel like he's the same player, but I don't think he has that high-end apex ceiling that a Pedersen does, and a combination of Pedersen-Kempe does. Like if you had Pedersen-Kempe as your two top guys for the next 5-6 seasons, like both of those guys in a different system could be both point per game players. So like I understand a lot of people like Pedersen not having, like Johnny says, an edge or a bite, or he's soft or this or that. Like not every player, like Jack Hughes is one of the top players in the NHL, and he's 180 pounds, and it is what it is, you know. Like not every player needs to have that. But I feel like he doesn't have to be a captain here until maybe like the changing of the guard happens. Maybe he'll be an assistant captain next year, or with Kopitar leaving and they'll need somebody to step up, or maybe it's time for Kempe to do it full time, or Mikey Anderson to do it a little bit more, who has been here longer. And like, then Elias Pettersson can just focus on playing hockey. You know what I mean? Like, I do think Rob Thomas is a higher cost, because there's nothing There's nothing wrong with his game. He's not having any issues with the locker room. He's their number one seeds, back-to-back 80-point seasons. Like, I do think the cost would be more, and I think St. Louis would want Byfield in return for that, where I feel like the cost could be lower for EP.
Yeah, I totally agree that I would bet if St. Louis asked, if the Kings called for Thomas, they're going to ask for Byfield, and I don't, same thing. Like, it just creates it's the same problem. So I don't, I think, but then again, like, I just don't think it's crazy. Like, I think both Thomas and Pettersson are better now, and I think it's probably not that hard of a case to make that they're going to be better over the next 5 years. I mean, and that's not a knock on Byfield. Like, Thomas and Pettersson are great players, So
you've seen it with them already, right?
And that helps, right? You've seen you've seen big seasons from them.
I said it on Twitter, and this is not to be mean or to give up on the player, but what if Byfield is never going to live up to his potential?
Then we're in big trouble.
Like, but I'm saying though, like, what if he never lives up to his potential, or even 75% of what we thought he would be?
Yeah,
because right now he isn't a 2C, in my opinion, for a championship team. He's not playing.
You don't think so?
Level. No,
I think he is. I think I've seen the floor of
his play right now. His play right now, no.
It's the production. I don't think he's playing poor, but the production's not there. And it just has to. Like, if you're a top end player, it just freaking has to be. And it's just not right now. Like, I don't think he's playing bad. There's not enough there production wise. Randon, like, I think you brought us to St. Louis. We could probably hang out there for a bit because
we got about 10 minutes before I have to shut her down.
There's a few guys, man. There's a few guys over there. When Jordan Kyrou's name's been out there all season. You guys know how I feel about him. What about Braden Shen? If they're going to look to kind of retool a little bit or rebuild, I should say, Thomas is a guy that probably really don't want to deal as a 26-year-old 1C, but Braden Shen, he's getting a little bit older. Maybe, he's got 2 years left. Maybe he makes some sense for St. Louis to deal. I don't know if it's a fit for Los Angeles, but thoughts on Braden Shen?
I feel like he'd be pretty pricey, no? Like, how?
34.
Like, didn't Toronto want to get him and they asked for like 2 first-round picks or something? And then some.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think you could easily get a first for Shen because his contract's only $6 million. He is a locker room guy, so like maybe a team that needs some culture boost, like that would help.
Yeah, I would love to have Braden Shen on the team. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, that when you're the thing is, like, what is this team any better though with Braden Shen? I'm not going to word like that. Yeah. Are they a contender with Braden Shen? Are we winning a playoff game?
I don't think you could bring in Connor McDavid and this team would be a contender.
I think. Well, you mentioned where I'm getting at. So this is the thing, though. Like, I don't think at the deadline they're going to trade for a 1C. Okay, they're not playing Kopitar third center minutes. It's just not going to happen. I think it makes more sense that or more likely, I would say, that they trade for somebody that's more that middle 6C. And I think if you've got Kopitar, Byfield, Shen, Turcotte, that's not bad. Again, do I think it's good enough? Like, that's a whole separate conversation. Like,
yeah.
Would you give up a 1 for Shen?
Huh?
Would you give up a 1 for Shen? Knowing that this team is closer to a retool than a championship?
So, good question. But this is the thing. Like, let me level set for a second, because like I want to preface all of this by saying I don't think the Kings will never win with this decor. Period. You're not winning a cup with this decor. So what does that mean? Does that mean they should never buy? Maybe to some people, right? And that's fair. Like, I'm trying to just look at this from like the LA Kings standpoint and how they're viewing this, which is obviously a guess. I have no idea. Like, I don't think Braden Shen gets the Kings over the hump. I don't think any of these players we've talked about gets the Kings over the hump. And when I say over the hump, I mean over the hump, like turn them into a contender. Like, could Pettersson or Thomas or Shen help them get out of the first round? fingers crossed, like if they don't draw Edmonton, or even still, like they can't play Edmonton, they can't play Colorado, like I don't think they beat Vegas. Like that's the thing. Like they're so hamstrung by the blue line that it in a lot of ways doesn't matter. So it's hard to look at these potential like tinfoil hat trades when you know you've got the anchor of Edmonton, CC, Dumoulin, and what's left of Anderson Doughty. Like that's tough, but it is what it is. So
could you pair Shen with Parayko?
Where's Parayko play?
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of
out Cody CC, but you'd have to give up more prospects.
Well, I was kind of going to get to that in terms of the defensive core because I've heard Rasmus Anderson's name tied to the Kings a couple times now lately. I think Drager even mentioned it the other day. And
if they move Brant Clark for anybody, and I mean anybody that's not a top 5 defenseman in this league, I'm going to flip a chair over.
I don't think they're going to move Brant, but like, what defenseman gets moved though? Like you just gave Dumoulin 3 years. You just gave CC 4 years.
You'd have to move CC and throw in a type of deal that you got rid of.
You just gave CC 4 years. Like, why would he move him? Like, they obviously value him. They value that player, or else they wouldn't have done
value Anderson more.
Like, well, I wonder if Mikey Anderson's name is out there.
Yeah, I was just going to say him because I think Ken Holland loves these big, bad defensemen, and Mikey Anderson, he's not huge and he's not that bad. So I can maybe he's a guy.
Yeah.
That's
so Shannon Parayko for LaFerriere, Hunter, Cody CC in a 1.
I don't think that St. Louis does that.
Well, if you get Pedersen and Pedersen. Pedersen.
Oh,
get the law firm.
Yeah.
I like that. Now you're speaking my language, Russ.
I mean, that was kind of an interesting contract that they gave to Marcus Pedersen, right? And considering where they're at now.
Right.
I wonder how much he's tied there. But like I think
because Dumoulin seems like he's more movable than CC
at this point. Yeah.
Because then Vancouver would flip him to another team and maybe eat some contract and do whatever.
I mean, they're just not even playing him. But yeah, I wonder how much Mikey Anderson is like coveted here in LA. I mean, obviously he's not Holland's not.
Yeah,
is tied to him really. So
he's a
that's an upgrade you can make, right? Like I feel like that's the upgrade maybe the Kings should make is there. Like even though I've always liked Mikey, he's a great dude, but like if you're making an upgrade on this team, that's the spot the Kings should be looking at is that LD1. Like if you can find that player, now we're kind of talking.
Yeah. Yeah, because you've got that's that. I like it. I don't know who that LD1 is.
So LD1 and then just get a middle bottom 6 center to just get the depth going.
Yeah, I mean, does Anderson play the left side? I don't know if he does, but
I don't know.
If you can find Clark, we're kind of like that's those are some moves I kind of like. Yeah, get like a Shen Kadri type player, then bring in a solid LD1. Like I don't know if these are like deadline moves, but like you gotta. Now we can start talking here.
Joe's holding his tongue. What do we?
I mean, I think that's a fine way to look at this, because they don't have the other guys aren't movable. I mean, I don't think Edmondson's movable. Although Edmondson's probably movable if they actually wanted to do that, but he's the best of the bad players. So I don't know, and
that's the only
I don't know.
It
might be. So I don't know. Like if now he wasn't a Holland guy, so maybe he's a little less tied to him than Dumoulin and CC. So real quick, and this is like, you can say we'll do this another time, but like I remember like the Bannerman guys, they were a little bit more sympathetic to Ken Holland on the Dumoulin CC thing, basically saying that he, you know, their thought is it doesn't make sense. Like, why would the Kings be so into Rasmus Anderson? All the rumors, there were heavy rumors for Rasmus Anderson, and yet they pivot to Dumoulin CC. They're like, it doesn't make sense. Like, that felt like more of a ownership thing that they had to pivot to something. But it's like, and maybe that's the case, you know. So maybe, I guess what I'm saying here is, if that's true, if Dumoulin CC was less of a Ken Holland call and more of a Luc Robitaille call or management call, you know, then maybe we do see Ken Holland get a little bit more, take a swing at a creative type of deal like Mikey Anderson and try to upgrade that LD1 position. I just find it hard to believe, I guess, that a guy of Ken Holland's stature would come in and be forced into making moves like that. I can understand them saying, listen, we really don't want to change the coach. So, but I find it hard to believe that he didn't sign CC and Dumoulin because he wanted to sign CC and Dumoulin. And then,
but why can't both be true?
Albatross contracts. What's that?
Why can't both be true? Why can't he have inquired about Rasmus Anderson, really like the player Rasmus Anderson, and also like Cody Ceci?
That just seems weird. They're so drastically different players. You're right. I guess that's true. That's fair. But like they are not alike.
I mean, he drafted Philip Broberg. Like, I mean, he is not immune to puck moving defensemen.
Yep.
Gave Darnell Nurse all that money.
So it's going to be interesting. Like, do the Kings make a power move and get a guy that can play here in the now and in the future? Do they do like a Kuzmenko type trade where they get a bunch of little small pieces and kind of like fill in this team where the holes are at, so they're not playing Rivara 22 seconds a night and these prospects, players that Hiller can trust, and or do they go and upgrade from a Mikey Anderson, which is one of the most team-friendly contracts out there for his skill set, team that maybe needs a LD2 out there for the future, guy that's a good locker room guy that can help transition a team from a rebuild to a contender. I think there's a lot of avenues this team can go, and it's going to be interesting to see how they do. I just hope this team is more entertaining. I hope this team continues to play Brent Clark as many minutes as he can possibly stomach, and that we can actually, hopefully, maybe see some King wins come April and May. But that is to be determined. Tonight was a fun one, guys. It was good to be back with you guys. Please follow all of us on Twitter, X, or whatever you want to call it. You can look at all of our articles at hockeyroyalty.com. Kyle Garcia is doing all of our Reign news, so follow him as well. We still got shirts available, so hit up Russell for some shirts, man. I'm sure he just sent it to you at this point because we got so much left over. So reach out to him and see what he's willing to offer you. Haggle a deal and get those Kevin Fiala and Trevor Moore shirts before both of those players are traded. So appreciate you guys for getting the chat. Hit that like button on the way out. And as always on this podcast, go Kings, go.